Oh, I have a video for you today, man. And this video is why I will never date a pillow princess. All right, man. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right, why I will never date a pillow princess. If you haven't heard this term before, its roots come from the LGBTQ community, lesbians. Basically, what a pillow princess is somebody who just lies there, wants to be pleased, and won't reciprocate and please you back. Plain and simple, okay? So I'm gonna share a couple stories with you. And the first one is I had not moved to Atlanta yet, right? I had spent a few weekends in Atlanta exploring the city. My employer said, hey, anytime you want, during a work trip, you want to stay a couple days over the weekend, check it out, because they really, really wanted me to move here. So I moved to Atlanta from Canada. I've been in the city now 10 months. And so prior to moving, I would go out to restaurants on my own. So this one evening, I go to this kind of swanky restaurant. I sit at the bar, I'm waiting for a seat to open up. And so I see the seat, and there's this blonde on one of the seats. So it seemed like she was alone, which, by the way, women almost never, under these conditions, sit at the bar alone. Okay, so quick tip. If a woman's sitting at the bar alone, it's usually one of three reasons. Now I'm talking like not a sports bar, because there's women that'll go there for a beer and just want to watch the sports. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a more upscale place, right? So if she's sitting alone, she's waiting for someone, typically. You have no idea how many times I've approached a woman to ask her out or whatever, and I find out, oh, her boyfriend's coming or her friend is coming or whatever, which the friend, that's fine. So women almost never sit at the bar alone unless they have they're waiting for someone, mostly a dude. They showed up early. Number two, if it's a hotel bar, it's because they're traveling for work and they don't live in the city. Okay, so that's number two. And then number three is, well, I can't recall number three. I think those are the only two reasons why. If they are sitting alone, it's because it's a hotel bar and they're traveling, or they're waiting for somebody. But just in general, it's super, super rare. Oh yeah, number three is because they live in the area. So they're just like a walking distance, which, okay. But you basically only have a 1 in 3 chance that, unless you're looking for a one night stand, but to actually like pick up somebody at a bar, only a 1 in 3 chance that she's actually single and she's there at the bar herself because she wants to enjoy that time. So back to my story. So I go to the bar and I see this woman alone, and I'm like, well, based on what I've just told you, I'm like, she's either waiting for somebody, she's traveling for work, or she lives close by. The likelihood of her at this particular spot living close by was pretty unlikely. So I'm like, she's probably traveling for work. So sure enough, that's exactly what she was doing. She wasn't traveling for work. I ended up having a conversation with her. It was her birthday. So she treated herself to a solo trip, which, by the way, very few women do that. I don't really do that much. So it's a solo trip, and it's her birthday solo trip. So I'm like, wow, happy birthday. That's awesome. So I end up buying her a drink, a birthday drink, whatever. And then, so, during the conversation over dinner, and she's like, well, what are your plans after? And I said, well, at the moment, I have tickets to this EDM nightclub. And I bought 2 tickets. One of my, I thought maybe I'd run into a colleague or something that would join me, and they didn't join me. So we can go there if you like. And she's like, well, I don't really like EDM music. And I said, okay, well, do you want to go somewhere else for a drink? So we leave. We go to a nearby hotel, the bar at the hotel, for a couple drinks. And this is getting late now. It's like 1 in the morning, something like this. And she has a flight the next day at like a 9 o'clock in the morning flight or something. So she's got to be at the airport for like 7. So I'm starting to like get concerned about her timing. And I'm saying, look, I don't want to keep you out late. I was just, you know what, man? I was just enjoying the company. I didn't have expectations. I wasn't looking for sex. So she's like, well, do you want to go somewhere else for another drink? And I said, look, um, I don't even know it's open because I don't live in the city. But if you like, I'm going to put it out there that there might be some drinks in the cooler at my place, or I can get something in the hotel restaurant where we can chill. And so I basically invited her back to my hotel room, right? So get back to the hotel room, and of course, you know what happened. We end up having sex, and it was pretty good while it lasted. And then so she gets off multiple times. So I'm like, shit, that's cool. So then she's like, I'm gonna go to sleep now. I'm like, what? So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now. And I'm like, well, hey, it's my turn. And so she basically said no. And I'm like, she's like, okay, good night. And she just rolls over in the bed. And oh man, I'm like steaming mad, right? And I didn't want to show her that. I didn't want to, show her that I'm upset. So I said, well, hey, look, I don't need 5 minutes. I'm trying to like negotiate. I'm finding myself negotiating with this fucking chick. And then so she's like, nope, going to bed. Well, then I'm like, that's fucking it, man. That's it. So I get up, turn the lights on, grab her clothes, put them on the bed, and I said, well, then you need to leave. The look in her face, she's like, what? I'm not leaving. I'm like, yeah, this is my hotel room, not yours, and you're being a jerk, and I'm not going to spend the night with a jerk. So go. So kicked her ass out. And the other story that I want to share with you in terms of Pillow Princess, because listen, man, I just will share this. Backtrack. I remember I had the similar situation with this girl, and we went on a few dates. I go back to her place, and basically the same thing happened, right? So now this is a trigger for me. So basically the same thing happened. I please her. She says, well, I'm going to go to sleep now. And there I was. I accepted it. I rolled over and slept with her that night in terms of like being frustrated, not being pleased, and allowed her to humiliate me like that and be a pillow princess. And then from that moment on, this was back when I was in Canada, from that moment on, I swore to myself, oh, hell no, I will not be humiliated. And if she does that, then I'm going to bring it up to her. If she's not going to compromise with me, I'm going to leave or I'm going to kick her ass out. So this next story, this has happened to me recently, right? Similar situation, date number 2. And this was, okay, so first day we had sex. It ended up being a really good night. And then the next day she wanted to see me. So this was a Friday. So then the Saturday she hits me up and she's like, hey, would it be too much to ask for you to come over again? So I'm like, okay, all right. Listen, man, I did a video on love bombing. So I was a little cautious of this being a love bombing situation. So anyways, I go back to her place and we're having a good night. And then in the morning, I get her off and then it's my turn and she basically rejects me. And she says, well, I want to get up now and start my day. And so I mentioned to her, I said, look, that's not very kind of you. And she's like, well, doesn't matter. You had your fun. Oh, shit. So I was like, well, I guess I'll be leaving now. And it was nice while it lasted. Like, boom, ended that shit. So listen, man, listen. Do not date pillow princesses. And if you're in a marriage or in a relationship and she's rejecting sex and there's no like reason, like logical reason, like I totally get it's you're going to bed at midnight and she has to get up at 5 in the morning. I get that and be respectful of women in that situation, right? But when you have pleased her and she doesn't want to reciprocate and please you back, oh shit. You need to bounce from that shit, man. You need to Speak with her about it and mention it to her and hold your masculine frame, because sometimes it's a shit test. Sometimes it's just straight up disrespectful. But you need to curb that shit, because now you're telling her that it's okay to do that. And then you're just going to constantly be disappointed. You're going to be resentful of her. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So that's why I will never date a pillow princess. Let me know in the comments if you had any similar experiences and what you think about this. And we will see you next time.